Beach, you can look at the distance, you will be able to see the ships waiting to get into the harbor. That is where the ships would have originally stood. And catamarans would then row and go up to the ship. Everybody, man, woman, child, furniture, goods, everything would be offloaded on the backs of coolies who would be wearing only a komanam. And they will then get down from the ship and put these passengers on the raft and then row them to the shore. So everything depended on the way the catamaran rode between the ship and the land. You traveled 1 year coming all the way from London. Cyclones affected you, pirates affected you. 50% of your colleagues died on the way. Nobody knew what happened to them. And all kinds of diseases happened. And then you arrived here and then you had to get onto the back of a coolie. And the coolie will put you onto a raft and then he will bring you onto the shore. Now he will wait when the sea is at its roughest. And then he will begin rowing you, and suddenly when it is at a very bad position, he will say, you have to give me more money, otherwise I am not taking you to the shore. Now if they tried to bargain with him, they would just nudge the passenger and he would fall off in the water and get thoroughly drenched. It was believed that almost 25% of the goods that survived the journey from London to Madras got lost in the last 2 miles between Madras and the harbour and Madras city. Now, nothing really got lost. How many of you have been to Allahabad to do Prayag? How many of you have been? Now, when the Ganga and the Yamuna and somewhere the Saraswati is meeting, very violent rivers, that boatman will say, Godan karo. And then you are so terrified, you give him everything. You don't realize that 2 minutes later, he is going to say, Bhudan karo. So again, you will fish into your pocket and give him all the money. Then he will give you one coconut and say, fling it into the river. When you fling it into the river, one man will be waiting underneath to catch the coconut and he will take it back to the shore and sell it. Now, this is exactly what would happen here also. Every item that was dropped in the sea would be collected by people and brought to the city and sold next day in the evening. Now, that place where this happened was called the Thieving Bazaar. Today, we know of it as the Evening Bazaar Road. Very small difference. Now, the catamarans were a terror. Nobody could control them. The government passed legislations, the government did all kinds of things to control them. They used to go on strike, which meant passengers were stranded in the boat. They could not come, and people who were in the city could not go and catch the boat either. They continued demanding rates, all kinds of things. Finally, in 1875, work began on a proper harbour for the city. When it was completed in 1914, it was said it was the greatest challenge that mankind had ever faced from nature. Building the harbour for Madras. And while the harbour was being built, they noticed a very peculiar phenomenon. That as the harbour dredging was going on, the sea began to recede on the southern side and it began to come into the city on the northern side. The Marina Beach actually was formed only because the harbour was built. Without the harbour, there would be no Marina Beach. And even today, it is growing at a small length every year. Whereas if you go to the other side of the harbour, Thiruvattriyur, you will find that the water is continuously rushing in, and whatever success has happened in stopping that water is only because of IIT Madras. IIT Madras has designed those special groins and they have put it there, and that is how the water has stopped coming into the city to a certain extent on the northern side. Now, in those days, you had these catamaran drivers. Today, what do you have? Same behavior, no change. Sons of catamaran. So they will meet you at the station and they will say some rate and then you will get into the auto. They will take you to a very shady spot and say, Innu konjam duddu kudu naina. Now if you don't give that duddu, they will tell you things about your grandmother, your father, your aunt, your wife, your sister, your relationship with them, all kinds of things that you never wanted to know. Now the harbour finished off the catamarans. Hopefully, Ola and Uber will finish off these people, some stage or the other. So technology has always played a role in getting rid of these horrible elements. It's only that we have to put up with them for 200 years before technology does anything to them. This is what in the Bhagavad Gita also Mahavishnu said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavanti bharata. Whenever there is adharma, I will come, but he did not say when he will come. He takes his own time in arriving. So now he has come as Ola and Uber, and he is taking care of us. Now, this is the other creature that goes on our roads. The safest place to be is inside these things. If you are outside, you are always at risk. Now, when the good auto rickshaw driver dies, what happens to him? He goes into a poster with 2 weeping eyes. In Madras, You can be the greatest industrialist, you can be a porter in a railway station, but when you kick the bucket, you will definitely have a poster with two weeping eyes and your name in the middle, Mudalavadu Varsha Anjali, Padimunavadu Naal Anjali. Half the buildings in the city are held up only because of these posters. If you remove them, the buildings also will fall off. And if you have not got that poster, you have got this poster. That is because of the condition of the roads. Moolam or piles is the most common disease that you can have. An old S.V. Shekhar drama, I remember, where the woman is in labor and they go to the hospital and he says, "Unga wife is romba complicated." Yeah. Auto rickshaw la vandu kuda delivery alena inga enatha pannida porom naanga persa. So that kind of thing. So this poster sticking is a very unique Tamil Madras culture. Now if that is not enough, you also have the Vastu culture. Now this Vastu culture, you have been leading a normal life. You go to the toilet every day in the morning. One day you come out and you slip on the doormat and you fall down. Then you have a doubt. So you call the Vastu consultant. You don't go to a doctor, you call Vastu. And you tell him, "I fell down today, what should I do?" He says, "It is very simple. Your bathroom is in an east-west alignment. You are shitting in that direction. God is not happy with you. So you have to move in a north-south alignment. So what do I do?" So he says, "Nothing, it's a small expense, you realign the bathroom." So you realign the bathroom and then you discover that the toilet door is now in the dining room. So you go back to the Vastu. Vastu says, "No problem, you realign the dining room, that's all." But now because you have realigned the dining room, the kitchen is where you were shitting originally. But that is not the Agni Mulai. If you are going to cook in the Agni Mulai, you had it. So now you have to shift the kitchen to the northeast, which is where the grandmother's room used to be. Now grandmother, because of medical technology, is showing no signs of dying. She's going on forever. So then you have to move her into another room. Like this, within 1 year and at an expense of 1 crore or so, your whole house has changed direction. Then one day after having shat in the northern direction, you get up, you come and slip on the same doormat. Now, this is Vastu. Now, in those days, Madras used to have only white color buildings. People were very good. They used to live in bungalows. Madras bungalow is a strange phenomenon. That is, you will have a huge compound of 4 grounds, 8 grounds, 10 grounds. You'll have a palatial bungalow in the middle, but it will have only one bedroom. That one bedroom was meant for the head of the family. Everybody else will sleep in common corridors. And the beds will be kept rolled up, all kept on the wall because nobody should sleep during the day. Every house would have at least 40 people in it at any given point of time. That is husband, wife and minimum 7 children. Then the wife's cousin who lives in Ongole or Nellore or Guntur or something who has come here to study. Then the Ammanji whom everybody thinks is absolutely useless. He never studied much. But he's very important because he's the guy who will climb onto the water tank and check if the water is coming. He will take the children to school. He will buy all the things that are needed. By 8 o'clock, all the bungalows, they will switch off the lights and go to sleep. Because that is how the population was kept going continuously. 8 o'clock, no other entertainment. Go home, switch off the lights. So if you went to Radhakrishnan Road and all at 8 o'clock, till 1985-86, I am saying, you will be scared to walk down that road. No lights anywhere. And 1 or 2 cars going down the road, that's all at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. You'll wonder, who are all these people living inside those big, big houses? Then one day you found that the daughter of the house, who was known as Janaki, has now married a Holmstrom or a Hoffelmayer in the United States. The sons have all gone abroad. Ammanji has also married and gone abroad, and he is coming back and telling you, develop a multi-storied building. And then one day the contractor comes and tells you, "I will give you 3 BHK with swimming pool." He does not tell you that this is a city with water scarcity all the time. What swimming pool? You will only use it for patupatri techifying after some time. But 3 BHK, pramadama katidla sir, maadila ungalku penthouse. So this is the plan. So they will, put up this plan and they will tell you. And nowadays every building is in one strange color, magenta, green, orange. We have discovered the colors of the rainbow and we are putting it all up. Then the plan, pramadama or multi-storied buildings are car parking. Watchman will take care of the water supply. Then you think, Manji, next time you come, you see what I have got for you. So you put up the multi-storied building. Then Mr. Stalin says, let us build a flyover next to your house. So the 3rd floor window and the flyover are exactly in alignment. So the motorcyclist who's going down looks inside and finds out why you have not dusted that corner. why the potted plant is not having water, and all that. So slowly you lose your privacy. The ground floor mama refuses to pay the lift dues. Why should I pay lift dues, sir? I never go upstairs. I don't need to pay. And the first top floor mama locks up the terrace because he thinks it's his private property. Sir, சின்ன பசங்கள்லாம் மாடியில் போய் கீழே விழுந்துருவாங்க சார். Safety issue. I will keep the key. Now, because all these things happen in the plan, the building looks like this. In reality, because the top floor mama has locked up the veranda, you have to hang all your dirty clothes only inside the house. So this flyover man knows who is wearing 34C, who has got 46, everything he knows. And why the elastic is wearing out on this particular garment. Now, this is a big problem in Madras. The multi-storied building has not solved all our issues. Now, Chennai and the queue system is another strange thing. I have lived in all the 4 metros, I know. I don't know about Bangalore. Let's leave Bangalore aside. But Bombay, people will stand in a queue and then get in also in a queue. Very un-Indian behavior. In Calcutta, because everybody thinks he is king, they will form one queue for each of themselves. And then they will all try to get in at the same time. In Delhi, they will stand in a queue till the bus comes and then they will shout abuse at each other and fight to get inside. Why you stood in the queue for so long, nobody knows. But in Chennai, there is no concept of queue. There is no orderliness. You will stand wherever you want. When the bus comes or whatever comes, you fight your way and get in. Not even a semblance of forming a queue. This is exactly how the city developed also. No queuing system and all that, which is why pin code number 4 will be Mahilapur, pin code number 2 will be Parktown, pin code number 1 will be Georgetown, pin code number 104 is High Court compound, which is just opposite. So everything developed the way it went along, and it is one of the craziest developments possible. And it has continued to develop crazily. So the old city has got narrow roads. Why should Thorepakam also have narrow roads? Why can't Thorepakam have underground drainage when it started coming up? No. First the houses will come. Then they will dig, and then they will start doing only what is known as open drainage system. That way the population will come down due to malaria, typhoid, cholera, flooding, etc. quite a bit. And then they will say, we will now lay the underground drain. By the time the colony will be more than 30 or 40 years old. Now this is the Marina Beach, as I told you, the second longest, as I told you, created by the harbour. And this is one of the strange aspects of this city, that there is an urban beach in the middle of the city, and we have actually left it like this. No multi-storied building has been constructed on it. No government department has said that we want to build an office here. This is one of these strange things of the city, one of the redeeming features of this city, and long may it continue this way. But the same cannot be said about our wonderful rivers. So in 1960, the river was like this. In 1995 or so, the river is like this. And today, a fish, apparently, according to some study, can survive for some 24 seconds or something in the water here. This buffalo that you see feeding here must have gone back to Yamadharmaraja within a few minutes after drinking the water in this river. You also find signboards like this. Bathing with jetty is prohibited. Madhu arundu vittu kulikyadir. Don't bath using liquor. Actually, you can bath in that river only if you are using liquor. You cannot otherwise even think of getting into that river. So this is one of those strange, interesting things that they have put up. And why it is in Malayalam, I have not understood. That is another mystery that I have to probe. Chennai is also home to culture. The greatest music festival in the whole world happens in Chennai. There, some Sabha mamas are all clapping. Now the 60 organizations put up 2,000 music performances and dance performances. And two of the great icons, Kalakshetra and the Music Academy, two of the greatest icons, one of them a statue here, Rukmini Devi Arundel, and the other one, M.S. Subbulakshmi here. I sometimes think that if there is still rainfall in this city, it is because of the fact that we breathed the same air as this saint who once lived in our midst in this city. One of the most amazing lives. During the course of 85 years or so, she earned 2.5 crores. And every rupee was given away to charity, not having kept a single rupee for herself for a rainy day. The way the concert would happen is her husband would agree to a concert invitation and name the fee. And he would also identify the charity to which that money had to go. Subbalakshmi will come and perform for 3 hours. The check will be made in the name of the charity. The organizer will hand it over. Subbalakshmi will go home with Vetalapak. That is how she lived. So if at all it rains and if at all we are still reasonably healthy, it is because of this Mahatma who lived in our midst. So one of the great things that happened in our city. Now the December Music Festival is wonderful, but this is what you will find happening inside it in all the sabhas, people reading newspapers, people answering on their cell phones. பால அடுப்பு மேலே தான் வச்சிருக்கேன், இப்போ ஃபோன் பண்ணாதீங்கோ. And then, அருணா சாய்ராம் வந்து மாடு மேய்க்கும் கண்ணா பாடுறா, நீ கேட்குறியா? And then they will hold up the phone like this in front of Aruna Sairam's face so that the daughter in America, in Wisconsin, is able to listen to Aruna Sairam singing over here. So these are some of the strange, and at 8 o'clock, there will be an exodus because everybody wants to go home to see what is the next horrible event that is happening in Deiva Tirumahal or whatever it is. Chennai is also home to Kollywood. In the beginning, in 1931, when the first movie, talking movie came to Madras, that was Mahakavi Kalidas, we welcomed the cinema reel in a procession on an elephant. Crackers were burst, drums were beaten, and then it was taken, the reel was taken to the cinema theatre, which was called Kinema Central in Georgetown area, and that is where the film was screened. Mahakavi Kalidas was advertised as a Tamil talkie, but the producer of the movie had seen only a Hindi movie before. So he knew that the camera could record Hindi, but he did not know if the camera could record Tamil. So he decided to play it safe